If you haven't done so already, just make sure that you do save your scene. And as you can see, the hierarchy is now kept nice and clean. Now what I'm thinking is that I'm going to put that pub bar building around here. So I'm just going to go to the medieval house light, to the prefabs, and we should find the pub bar building. We should just be able to drag this in. And I'll just make sure that the actual roof is switched on, and that the props are switched off. Okay. So we could have it kind of like this, alright, just so that it's kind of facing this direction here. It looks kind of interesting. And we've already got a path that can potentially lead directly into that building. So if we go back to our island, paint, and make sure that we're on this particular texture. Alright, the opacity is relatively low, so that's good. So I'm just going to kind of paint a little bit of a path coming out here. Get it to kind of lead into this building. That kind of helps to direct the player as to where they should be going. Let's just paint underneath the actual building so that goes all the way in there. Okay, straight into the place there. Alright, and I wonder if there's a back door. Yep, there is a back door as well, so I'll do something with the back in a second. Alright, then this particular path will then continue to kind of go up this way. Now I might put another big tree just over here, so let's go back to main prefabs. Get another one of these really large trees. Put it maybe over this side. Yep. Alright, just makes it look a little bit more interesting. Now we have got a tree trunk fallen. Alright, looks quite nice. Might just put one of those on there. I might have another one of these large kind of rocks, as though there's something kind of like a magical community or something that's either lives here or has lived here. That they have these kind of interesting kind of rocks everywhere. Then I might want some small rocks, so rock 0, 1 small, just put a few of these around to make it look a little bit more interesting. Yep, okay. And then obviously we need some more grass. So once again I'll just press F, make sure that's actually going into the ground. F. There we go. Might put another couple of mushrooms around here, so if I can find my mushrooms. Might put these purple ones this time. Yep, okay, that's fine. Now, as we're coming over here toward the edge, I certainly don't want it to be so clear and grass like this. I actually want to paint a different texture on here. So if I click on Island and go to Raise or Lower Terrain with this particular brush, I'm just going to make the brush size a little bit bigger. Let's say Yeah, 5's pretty good. The opacity, I'm going to make maybe about 3.3. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly click on these in order to sort of try and raise it up a little bit. Almost as though there's like some kind of stone texture going on. So it's not so rounded. You can come all the way into here like this. Okay, yep, so I think that's fine. Now what I want to do is, if I go into the assets, terrain textures, is to use one of these rock cliff textures. What I'm thinking is this one, rocks cliff A. Okay, so if I click on island, back into inspector, go to the paint texture, I'm going to create a new layer, and it's going to be the rocks cliff A, which is this one. And then if I click on this one, I think it's also got a normal, so let's try rocks cliff A. Yep, this is the one, normal map. Alright, now as long as I've got that selected, just going to increase the opacity just a little bit, maybe lower my brush size just a little bit. Now I can actually start to paint these in. They're quite cartoony in terms of like the way that they look. At the moment the tiling is not very good, so perhaps I'll actually change the tiling before going too far forward. Tiling I'm going to make about maybe an 8 by an 8, maybe not, 6 by 6. A little bit of warping going on by the look of it. Well, we'll see what we can do with this shortly. And then obviously make sure that there's no grass showing through there. Don't worry if you accidentally paint on the grass or something, it's probably not going to show through, but if it does, just go back to the grass layer and paint it out. Okay, so let's take a look at this. It's not bad. It's kind of a little bit difficult to see what it is actually because of the texture pattern. So let's try a different number. Let's try 12 by 12. Okay, no, don't think that quite works. Let's try a 4 by 4. That just looks terrible. Let's try a 9 by a 7. Okay, let me try changing this one to rocks, and this one, this brown one, and then the same with the normal as well. So rocks and this one. I think that one looks a bit better. All right. slightly. Alright, now the normal, I really want to push this out, so I want to do a 2 on there to try and get that normal to really kind of push out a little bit. Also want it to be a slightly more metallic so it becomes a bit darker. And smoothness, I might even make them a little bit shiny. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. Alright, so it's just a case of then just painting in the rest of this and just going around so that we've got kind of a natural sort of cliff face that's happening over there, so you know that you're not going to go down there. Alright, yep, that's interesting. Now, because this is a pub or a bar or whatever, it's probably going to have some barrels left over. So maybe I could put a few barrels outside here. So these are part of the props, prefabs, props, and yeah, we should have a few barrels hanging around. I think that would be interesting. Might also have some over this side as well, so let's just put maybe just a few barrels here. Just rotate those around. These are like the empties, I guess. I'm just going to change to local rotation, and that way I can then just move this forward. Yeah, alright, that's quite nice, I think. I might also have one of these really big trees behind this as well. So main prefabs, and the big tree, yep, just so that it makes it look a little bit more interesting. And then I probably also want some little trees as well, so let's put a couple of those in. Let's go and find oh, I missed it. Where was it? Pine tree double-sided. For some reason the prefabs disappeared. Okay, let's put one over here. Let's put one over here like this. Put one at this kind of crossroads. Put one a little bit further up here like this. Okay, yep. So notice how you're just going along the map. You're just adding these details as you're going along, and it's sort of building up to something that looks a little bit more interesting. Okay, yeah, I think I'm quite happy with that. So now it's just a case of putting these back into these subfolders and just cleaning up the hierarchy once again. Don't forget to save your scene.